pick, something tells me TNC is taking the scenic route to the journey of triumph. It's taken a while because Hayabusa, not so good, his win rate in MPL Philippines Season 11 so far. Yeah. So they have to go fast. Is that right for me to say? Do they have to go fast? Is it a snowball we're expecting from TNC?
They have the tools to do it, and as much as possible, they'd want to do it. Again, they're up against a Claude, so yeah, they're going to have to go and play fast and try to make the most out of their advantage that they could potentially get if the Farsa does well. Again, one of the reasons why Guinevere sounds good in this current patch is because of the adjustments to knockback effects and how stronger it is.
Oh, look at that. Knock up onto the Queen. Oh, my Venus put down to a fifth of her health. Goyo very low as well. Benting's protecting his mid laner with that bouncing ball. Little Wanderer going over to Blacklist International.
Perfectly timed bouncing ball there, protecting Goyo, making sure that he does not get hit at the last minute. But we're seeing a little bit of the reason why this Joy starts to get banned out in the early game. It's just so difficult to deal with in the right hands.
Yeah, as I have to correct myself, I mentioned knockback earlier. I meant to say airborne abilities or the knock-up effects being dealt out. The Guinevere is very happy with that adjustment with the latest patch that we had.
Oh,
looks like, they really want to get that early game kill there.
And there's a Violet Requiem putting Bentings in harm's way, very low, but he will survive.
Oh!
Bentings lives.
That's what we're talking about. You saw there, Jesus trying to go after Eve, though.
Oh, he's deep. He's deep. Renegade, the hitman, finds him. Woo. Pops the vengeance, and the flicker from the Lapu Lapu. First blood drawn, Blacklist International.
It's so fun to see the hitman just having a field day in his first day back here in Season 11. I gotta say, the right timings, he's hitting them. He's going to the fights at the moment that he's most needed.
Yeah, so far shining right now for Blacklist International. But we saw there the interaction. Usually at the end of the cast of the Violet Requiem of the Guinevere, we'd have time to get away. But now that there's a momentary stun, you saw that even after the end of the Violet Requiem, Bentings couldn't move.
Yeah, that was big. In these fights where everyone just has so much control of their heroes, small things like that actually are the biggest difference makers in these fights.
And here's what I'm looking at. Interestingly, again, it's one thing to cry over spilled milk, but what was TNC thinking when they went for that Little Wanderer and King Kong was all the way down bottom lane? It looked like they weren't really going for the Little Wanderer, but what then?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, quite a miracle that they didn't lose so much for it, considering what they can dish out, but it might be a big play here. Let's see if anyone will pull the trigger.
I guess it just looks weird because they were level 3 at that time.
Yeah.
And everyone Blacklist was level 4. Oh!
Will Wise catch Goyo? Answers no. Also, something interesting to note, Goyo is rocking a Flicker, not a Purify.
That's trouble. That could be trouble later on.
Yeah, and there's a lot of flickers and control on the side of Blacklist International that they're not going to hesitate to utilize their flickers just so that they can stop Goyo and that Farsa. And earlier, Leo, you asked me, does TNC need to play fast? Right now, they can't play fast. Blacklist International isn't giving TNC any opportunity to do so.
They want to, but they can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and at this point, just have to ask, how long can TNC actually hold off against this lineup here that has just so much? I mean, you just have to keep your eyes open 24/7. You miss out once, and that is trouble for you.
Oh, Yue burst in Goyo. Mind you, there's no feathered airstrike on. Bentings catches 3 with that ult, forcing out a Cult Altar. Here comes the bouncing ball, going away, and King Kong quad shadow out. No dice.
Yeah, they still don't have the damage just yet. Goyo's feathered airstrike wasn't up. But good attempt there by Bentings, forcing out some things from Blacklist International, but sadly they weren't able to force out any flickers from the side of Blacklist, and I believe that's what Bentings was trying to do.
Yeah, looking like Renegade and Wise have a lot of confidence in this one with Oh My Venus nearby.
Oh, Hesu, you've been dancing here for the better part of the past minute, deep behind the enemy lines. It looks like once more TNC going to concede this turtle, going over to Blacklist.
Yeah, it's not much of an advantage for Blacklist right now. It's 500, 400 gold. You don't see that on the gold lead, right? You see it on how they actually post up in the team fights, pre-team fights, how forward they are on the map.
Yeah, and Blacklist is doing that also because, man, Goya's been struggling this game. So many eyes on him. Wise gets a knock-up onto Ben Things.
And there's the Violent Requiem, putting the roamer of Blacklist International in a good position. The pull, the Queen helps US secure that kill. 2-0 so far, Blacklist in the lead.
And I want to point out here, Ben Things actually utilized his ultimate in the hopes that because the members of Blacklist, even though they were on the other side of the wall, the area, the scope of area that the Kufra ultimate covers means that Blacklist would have gotten caught and stunned into the wall if he landed it.
Oh, will the Hitman be the target this time? Yes, but was that worth it? Because down bottom, look at this. Oh my Venus gets a pull. Innocent blasted down. Goyo with a feather airstrike, no one home. Blacklist pushing TNC back.
Not sure if that was a fair trade because you do lose out Renegade and next laner, but you're giving so much to Super Red down bottom, man.
Super Red again. He might be able to continue his trends of great games. Focus on Oh My Venus, the queen of assists. Ranked second in total assists in MPLPH history with 2,212. If I'm not mistaken, number one was actually Yelly Hayes from last season.
Yes. He's still right there, but of course, the queen is trailing very, very close by.
I mean, compare it in context. Yelly Hayes has been here since season 1, Hesu. Oh, he's playing with fire here. 4v1. Pops the electrifying beats, and there's a feather airstrike. Renegade in trouble. Survives, but just barely. There's a cult altar.
Wow.
Innocent. Taken down by Super Red. Maximum range.
Renegade has so much trust on his teammates. He's willing to double back just in the hopes of getting that kill.
Blacklist International, just when we thought TNC caught them. And great patience by TNC again. The sustain provided by the Fireman Hesu!
Look at that jump in, but
What?
US still survives. King Kong does secure a turtle, though, for TNC. A small bit of redemption for the Phoenix Army, and Hesu is still deep in. Goyo pops the feathered airstrike, and there's a shadow kill. The Super Red punishes King Kong for going in too deep.
And we're being shown just the reason why the Hayabusa just hasn't been achieving a lot of wins here in MPL so far, especially against teams like Blacklist, who really love to stick together.
Oh, look at
It's just
Renegade.
not that effective.
Oh, the Hitman going 2v1, and he's not done. He's still going.
He can go.
I fear no man. Or except Goyo. I think you saw that.
I fear no man, but there were
Men.
two people there, so there were men.
Yes.
That you have to
scares me.
fear. As skilled as you are sometimes, if you're outnumbered, you just gotta forward in the other direction.
You know what? That makes sense. You know, you don't want to give away too much.
Yeah.
Just risk it.
As they say in the Filipino stream, 1v1 against 3.
Yeah. Translated to English.
Oh, look at this. Threatening a jump. Oh, my Venus goes for the Shadow Stampede, but that's a false engage.
I'm actually noticing TNC starting to look more confident as the game is starting to kind of eke out into the late game here. Maybe Innocence having a better time in itemization. We'll have a look at that right now. I think he does have his core items right there.
Yeah, he does.
Wait.
Innocent does have it. Oh,
Who was
knock-up.
there? Oh, Lord. That was 4 there. And here comes Hesu a little too late. That's a stun. Extra life on Wise. Not spent quite yet. Super Red takes down Ben Things. Hesu looking for targets. Oh, TNC are scrambled. They just lose one on the way.
It's not just that Blacklist is stopping what TNC wants to do. It's like Blacklist is always a step ahead. And it's like they know where Ben Things and the rest of TNC are.
Yeah, it's like it's like when you're absorbing a Kamehameha wave and then throwing it back in the opposition.
Yeah,
that's the feel of it, right?
Yeah, it's like they completely understand how TNC want to position and play around the map. The Blacklist is always ready for it. And again, if you're TNC, it's incredibly frustrating. You're making the right attempts, the right moves, but the team that you're up against has completely read you.
Oh, Ben Things catches Wise, and there's the feathered airstrike, answered by the Violent Requiem. Hesu takes down the King of the Jungle. Ben Things barely alive. There goes the rhythm. There goes the electrifying beats, but no one home. Yue blasting.
Oh!
Down goes the mid laner. It's a 1-for-1 so far, and the Lord's going to reset.
A very classic example. I mean, that was engaged on by TNC.
Yeah.
And they were just handed themselves by Blacklist.
Yeah, they got Wise down, which stopped Blacklist's attempt, but then it's like Blacklist already also just expected that to happen. TNC, how much more can they keep doing this until eventually they win a key team fight? Oh, the catch onto UF!
Oh, can they get the kill? Called alter in, set by the Queen. Already an extra life there spent. Here comes King Kong and Innocent. Damage dealers, no luck. The Hitman pushing back the rest of TNC. I must say, it's odd. TNC here, they know that they pushed away Blacklist, so they're going to try to go for the Lord. Did you notice the one playing man-to-man defense against Bentings, against the Kufra, is Wise?
Exactly.
It's the Guinevere.
And that's just so odd, right?
Oh. Watch out here. Oh, they're really full committing?
Oh, look at Wise.
They're going for
Watch
it.
him. Jesus goes out. King Kong secures the Lord. Oh, my Mina's taken down by Goyo.
They gotta
Can
run.
TNC get away? Here comes Yue.
Oh, he
is
missed.
taking the ult. Down goes Innocent. Yue bursts him down. King Kong going up north. Scrambling. Delta split. Here comes Yue.
Yue.
Oh, deep behind enemy lines. And Yue. Can he survive? The answer is no. King Kong shuts him down. Benting's taken down by Super Red. He's still having a super game.
Yua dove in the free people and did it again 30 seconds later just to give Super Red the space. What a player this Yua is.
The newest members of Blacklist International, Yue and Super Red. Really showing off why Blacklist picked them to fill in the shoes of Haji and Oheb respectively. Great performance from them in this game. It could have been so much worse for Blacklist, but Blacklist committed to the chase and to the counter punish, which means TNC couldn't make the most out of the Lord that they were able to secure.
This is actually insane right now. Although, of course, CNC, good props still for King Kong for stealing that in a very chaotic moment. But where do you go from there? Like, Blacklist is still very much ready to take these fights.
And the way that King Kong actually took the Lord was in the absence of Wise. Wise was preoccupied. So what if it comes down to a retry battle? What if it has to happen where both of you are there? I think that now opens up a new plan for TNC. Maybe they have to split up Blacklist, but no, Blacklist not going to allow it. Look at this. That's 5 members making a beeline, pushing them away from this Lord pit. False engage.
I gotta say, it's a bit odd to see a Guinevere and a Lapu-Lapu chasing down a Kufra.
Yeah.
They're like asking for that bouncing ball. Give me that bouncing ball. Come back here.
We want Ben. We want to play Ben.
Who's gonna be able to play ball well? 60 seconds until this Lord spawns. TNC are taking an indirect approach, trying to go for the split push. They have a lot of time to make a play here, but Renegade gets the info.
Yeah, they're quite happy to just take these small camps as much as they can. TNC, I'm pretty sure they're seeing if there's a possibility to make a pickoff because they cannot do anything against a 5-man Blacklist right now. Maybe they're trying to see if they can catch someone off guard here, but just not being given any space by Blacklist so far.
Now we saw King Kong pick up a Blade of Despair. And let's see if it's going to make something happen.
Wise spots out Goyo, and that was enough burst, but look at the back line. Can Hesu make a play here? Can he avenge the fallen mid laner? That is a huge loss for TNC. They needed that Farsa. They needed Goyo. Oh, but they're not done. Oh,
King Kong?
No, this is not a fight you want to
I
take.
don't think so. I think they have to give out this tower. There's no way they can actually defend
Ben
this,
thinks at
right?
the back.
Look at Ben. Spots one, but nope, he will just use bouncing ball to cross on through.
Yeah, it's like the members of Blacklist saw him. It's like, we know you can't do anything. We have the advantage, so we're just going to walk past and go for the Lord. But he's
And goes for the jump in, and look at the damage that TNC is able to put through. Yue very low, Lord at less than half health. Look at Hesu dancing on through. Oh, but there's not enough damage. Violent Requiem sets him up into the air, and here comes Goyo. He's back. They burst down the Hitman. Renegade taken down here, and so far that's a 1-for-1 XP laner for XP laner, and the Lord has been reset.
I think TNC is still doing the right things here, right? Instead of just playing to the fiddle of Blacklist, you know what? Ben thinks he's trying to make something happen. That's a lot better than just facing Blacklist head on and hoping for the best.
Yeah, and it feels like multiple times in this game, though, TNC would initiate, they'd get the play, but they'd just be lacking that little bit of damage to completely get that win. Super Red almost got taken down, which if that happened, TNC might actually continue to push the envelope of that sequence, but no, somehow Super Red and the other members of the Blacklist getting away with a sliver of health.
If they shut down Red here, not just in terms of gold, but even like his presence in the game, it's huge for TNC. Now, Lord, look at this, very low, down to a fifth of its health, and they're not going to get it, but there's a feathered airstrike started up, and there's a knock-up by Bentings. Wise coming in, playing man-to-man defense, the roamer and the jungler from both TNC and Blacklist respectively. Blacklist happy with that Lord take.
Blacklist still showing a lot of respect here for TNC.
A flicker and ult play, and look at TNC collapsing on the Blacklist right here in front of Tier 1 in mid. Now Renegade survives, greatest fighter away. King Kong taken down by Yue. And just like that, Blacklist marching on through.
Yue having a field day here.
Look at that, yet again, just lacking that little bit of damage to get a big win. How unfortunate for TNC, but they made the right call. They just didn't have the damage they needed.
Hesu looking to punish. They're staying too long, Blacklist. They took 2 inhibitors already. And the Violent Requiem stays Yue. And there's a jump in by Bentings. Taking Superhead very low. Gonna pop his immortality. No, there wasn't one.
Down.
That's a shutdown. And look at the base. Watch the base. Yue shut down by Goyo. It's just Goyo and Ben. Ben and Goyo. Can they do it? Feathered airstrike. And they're going to clear the minion waves. Bentings pushing away the rest of Blacklist. They're still here.
They bought enough time. They bought enough time for King Kong to get back in. And got to say that feathered airstrike came in the nick of it.
Yeah, and especially Bentings flying in just in time, clapping Super Red into that wall and bouncing ball, plus the damage from the cursed helmet that he had earlier was actually what helped him finish off Super Red. That magic damage he had, just that little bit.
This is the reason why Bentings is the captain of the team, even in previous generations of TNC, man. This guy, he knows the calls that you need to make in those clutch situations.
Ben Maglaki has always had a mind for the game, even as a sub player for TNC in Season 8. He always had something to share. He always had concepts, and now he's bringing that into the Land of Dawn, holding on for dear life as they're down 2K against Blacks International here, 17 minutes in.
We talked a lot about resilience. How resilient is TNC? Can they find the turnaround play? A little bit of item adjustments just coming across the board right now. See, Oh My Venus building into something here, a little bit more damage base as it looks like, there is enough sustainability on the Faramis. Almost everyone else in terms of damage locked in. Immortality still on the board, waiting to be fully built by Renegade. Hesu, though, has just completed the anti-Karas. Is it enough to survive the physical damage onslaught of Blacklist International?
Oh, look at this. Wise spots Bentings. Violet Requiem already spent out. Bouncing ball, Bentings keeping this bush. This is key for this next Lord, 5 seconds away.
Blacklist International has played well enough that Goyo is still struggling in this game. But a Farsa unchecked will be a problem for Blacklist. But so far, they've been checking that Farsa incredibly well. King Kong at least gets his purple buff.
Evolved Lord 18 minutes. It's starting to be a TNC special here. Long games for days. And I have to think, how is the Blacklist lineup in the late game compared to TNC's?
Still really well, though. Super Red, as long as he stays alive, his damage is extremely reliable. Alongside Yue with a 7-2 and 7 kill score.
All right, interesting. Yue stole the electrifying beats.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how that's going to come into play here in this next team fight. Huge. Check out bottom lane. There is a wave set in by Blacklist.
I'm not sure if Blacklist wants to go for that. Maybe they want to go for a big team fight, but they could. They could actually go for that bot, right? In classic Echo fashion, but it looks like they want to go for the 50-50 on the Lord
Blacklist
here.
will initiate this. They know Goya's not there.
Oh, there's a pull by the Queen. Bentings, bouncing ball away. Look at Hesu, dashing on through 5. This Joy, not a joke. Look at the base.
They have to death.
Goya has to clean up house. Lord has been reset. This is good for TNC. Blacklist, they just need to be a little more patient.
Goya struggling to manage these waves.
Bentings captures 2. And there's Hesu once more. He still has his vengeance. Very interesting. TNC holding on. They've shrank the gold lead now down to 500.
Yeah, again, big attempts here from Bentings to kind of turn the tide here. But Blacklist, they want to go.
Hesu spots Wise. Look at Innocent. He's going 1v1 against Renegade. Lord here, just barely 2/3 of his health left. And all this while, look, TNC managed to push mid-tier 1.
And from all of that, Blacklist have been whittled down so low that they're forced to back off as well.
Great lore dancing by these two squads right now. TNC.
Oh!
Ben Things with a catch.
There's a failure airstrike canceled out. Ben thinks he's got 5 members of Blacklist on him. It's Hesu here, keeping them away. No dice.
Minion waves though.
No flicker, no Tyrant's Rage.
Blacklist will
that
rush
could be
this.
big.
Oh.
This could
Blacklist
be
will
it.
rush this.
They're just going quick. Super Red and Wise and Yue blasting away, and there's another wave up top. That's permanent damage that TNC has to constantly tend to. A wound that Blacklist has dealt to them earlier this game.
And they're licking it non-stop here.
Oh!
Wise
Ben!
Burst down Wise, but in comes the Queen, just barely saving. Popping
alive?
immortality, yes! And there's a freeze.
Wow!
Wise still here. Lord at a quarter of its health, fully reset. TNC's base still alive as well.
One of those rare moments where Wise says, "I've had enough. Let's fight." That is, and so far TNC, they're just taking these blows in stride.
Oh man, the tension in the air. Oh, what a game, what a showing.
3 minutes, Lord Dance.
3 minutes, Lord Dance, the resilient TNC not giving up. But the great wound that is the minion waves crashing upon them is stopping them from getting to the great want that is the Lord.
Either team getting this massive Lord is going to be game-changing. And I'm not sure how TNC has done this, but this 5-minute Lord Dance, not an actual number, not counting, has turned into a gold lead for TNC. They're now up 2K.
They're up 2K. Oh my God, I did not notice that.
TNC finding change in the glorious pathway jeepney. Somehow finding it
Pathway
across the
jeepney.
map. Oh, look
That's
at Ben.
Silas ult.
Look at Ben.
Check out Ben things. He's stretching. Who's he going to find? He finds Wise.
No
puts him
immortality.
away with the ult. And
Oh!
Innocent just blasts away the king of the jungle. And now the Lord's still standing. US
yes!
secures it. US secures it. And look at the hitman jumping
Look at the
on
bottom.
King Kong.
Look at the
Innocent taken
bottom.
down by
Bottom
US.
lane.
Look at Super Red. Who's going to be there first? Oh, Hesu
Again,
been able to save the
defend.
day. Ben Things flickering away. And not quite yet. Not here. No split push victories. Ben Things bites it.
That's like the second Lord U has taken in this game, in the absence of Wise.
My goodness, you
Reliable.
again, how unfortunate for TNC. They pulled that play so well. But somehow the damage from the Valentino was enough to beat the retribution of a Hayabusa.
How?
Oh no, how? 3 defenders from TNC. 20 seconds till their next member comes through. Goyo has a feathered airstrike. He pops it early. Hesu pushing away the rest of Blacklist. TNC Hesu already uses Vengeance. That's another member
Yue
down.
again.
And Yue takes down King Kong. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Blacks International sweep TNC.
It's a 2-0 for the Season 10 champions here in game number 2. Wow.
All reliable, principled, fundamental. A little bit of luck on their side, but a whole lot of skill to show off. Blacklist and Yue, with his name getting chanted by the fans, gets the victory in the sweep against TNC. They're now on the scoreboard.
In before these rookies get back-to-back MVP performances.
Oh, that's gonna